I was disgusted and couldn't believe what he was telling me was the truth then. I listened with disbelief as he told me that 3 men had killed an Indian caretaker in Orchard Road Church in the 1984s and had disposed of the body by chopping it up and cooking it with curry and rice. On the 9th of January 1987, an informer notified Detective G that in 1984, a man by the name of Ayakanno Marimuthu had been murdered and his body chopped up into pieces and cooked in curry. Ayakanno was a caretaker at the Public Utility Board's holiday chalets in Changi. Initially, Detective G was skeptical, but he just brought it up to his superiors in the CID just in case. The senior officers also had the same reaction, like they were confused, which was understandable because there was no proof, just the words of an informant. But then they just instructed Detective G to look into the case. He found a missing persons report on Ayakanno lodged by his wife Nagarata Ramya on 18th of December 1984 at Juchet Police Station. In this report, Ramya said that her husband hadn't returned from Genting Highlands since he left on the 12th of December. Since there were no suspicions on foul play, police had recorded Ayakanno as a missing person. Since this missing persons report actually gave credibility to the informant's story, Detective G decided to pursue more into this case. He also found it suspicious that the victim was said to have gone to Genting Highlands, presumably to gamble at a casino there, as Ayakanno had very little money. I found out from his employer that he had borrowed $600 to buy school books for his children. Also, he had applied to go on leave on December 21 and 22, so it was highly improbable that he would just disappear without a trace on December 12. Something must have happened. I began tracking and gathering background information on the 3 suspects. I had some difficulties getting their names as I had to be discreet and not arouse their suspicions that the police were carrying out investigations. One lead I had was that one of the men was a mutton smallholder in the market. It seemed logical that a mutton seller was involved because the victim was alleged to have been chopped up into pieces before being cooked in curry. A mutton seller would have heavy choppers, which tied in quite nicely with the case. Over the course of 2 months' investigations, he spoke to almost 30 people. On 23rd of March 1987, from 2 a.m., the Criminal Investigations Department conducted an operation to bring in the suspects. 5 police teams raided different locations simultaneously, including a flat in Jurong East, a caretaker's quarters on Netheravon Road, and the Orchard Road Presbyterian Church. By 9 a.m., a total of 8 suspects were rounded up. They were Ayakanno's widow Ramya, his mother-in-law, Ramya's 3 brothers, and their wives. His brother-in-law, Balakrishna Ramya, was a butcher at a mutton stall in Commonwealth Avenue Market, while his brothers, Ramaya and Chandra, were caretakers at the Ministry of Finance's Holiday Chalets and the Orchard Road Church. Krishnasamy was a housewife, while Marimuthu, Ramya's sister-in-law, was a factory worker. Initially, all suspects denied the knowledge of Ayakanno's murder, but on the 25th of March 1987, one of the suspects finally confessed. In the afternoon of 12 December 1984, Ayakanno was brought to the caretaker's quarters of a church by his 3 brother-in-laws. He was bludgeoned with an iron rod in the kitchen of the quarters and his body chopped up and cooked with chili powder, spices, and rice in a large aluminium pot of a type often used in Indian restaurants to cook nasi biryani, a popular rice dish served with either chicken, mutton, or fish. The remains, including cracked pieces of skull and bones, were placed into black plastic bags and disposed of in several roadside rubbish bins. The case was one of the most unusual and bizarre murder cases handled and solved by the police. Unusual because the remains of the body have never been found and the deceased had not even been reported to have been murdered. Bizarre because of the manner in which the body was disposed of. But the real question is, why did they kill him? A newspaper report of the murder in March 1987 described the victim as often being drunk, violent, and physically abusive to his wife Ramya. A spokesman for the church also said that they were a hardworking couple, and even though Ayakanno possessed a hot temper, he will always apologize after. So I couldn't find the exact reason on why they killed Ayakanno, but we can all presume that it was maybe because he abused his wife, and the wife told her brothers and sister-in-laws got involved, the mother got involved, and the whole family just decided to kill the guy. Ramya and her 3 brothers were charged with murder of Ayakanno, while her mother and sister-in-law were charged the following day with abetting the murder. At court, the prosecution said there was insufficient evidence to proceed against them as neither the remains of the victim's body, the murder weapon, nor the cooking pot were found. District Judge Zainul Abidin gave the 6 a discharge not amounting to an acquittal, which meant that they could be charged again for the same offence. Police investigations will also continue with the intention of future charges, and after the hearing, the 6 was taken back into custody by the CI. You know, I really do wonder who was this informant and like how did he manage to know that this whole murder occurred, because it seems like the perfect murder plan, like to cook someone in curry and the body just disappears. How did he find out? Thank you for watching my video and see you in the next one.